This is the topic we had already discussed about Power BI reporting server setup, installation and configuration. Part of that I have already covered part 1 video about SQL Server Developer Edition, download, install, and part 2 video SSMS, and part 3 video Power BI reporting service installation and configuration. We made it previously. So now this final video Power BI desktop, we are going to download it. This is the IDE tool to develop dashboard, Power BI dashboard for visualization. Okay, after download we will create a basic dashboard. That dashboard we are going to sync up with the reporting server. Okay, this is about it for the for our discussion. Let us begin. This is the link you need to follow to download. Okay, I'm going to launch it, this link. So like I mentioned before in the previous part 3 video, if you click the download, let us try to check the 64-bit Power BI desktop version. Click the download button. Okay, the download will take 13 few minutes, so I'm going to pause the video. Now the download is completed for Power BI desktop, so let us try to install that. Yeah, now it's looking for the confirmation. Let's try to install this one. This is pretty much straightforward. Just click next and go. So once the desktop, because this particular desktop version meant for on premises, so you have to be very careful to select this software, download and install it, so that it can sync up with the on premises reporting server properly. So okay, yeah, the installation is started. Accept the license agreement, and if you want to change the path you can change it, otherwise you can leave it as it is. And if you want to create a desktop shortcut, you can do that. Yeah, again this will take few minutes. I'm going to pause the video. Yeah, now the installation has been successfully completed. You can see from this window the completed Microsoft Power BI desktop means like 64-bit. So you can launch the desktop now. But before doing that, parallelly we can check our reporting server, whatever we installed in the previous part 3 video. It's up and running. So to launch that report, okay, this is report server configuration manager. We can double check that the service is up and running. Okay, we'll connect it. Directly go to the web portal URL, and this is the URL we need to remember. You can bookmark this link. See, now this is our reporting server. Power BI reporting server is up and running. My services is actively working. Now the next thing is, what you are going to do is, like, we can copy this URL, okay, and we are going to make use of sample data already provided through the internet. You can download it, load the sample data. Okay, this is the simple sample data, the financial data already provided by Microsoft. I'm making use of it. I'm just loading it. This is to demonstrate whatever the data we have, the sample data we have, we are going to publish and make sure that corresponding dashboard has been successfully able to publish it in within on-premises reporting server. That is the idea behind it. I'm going to make use of one table visual. I'm bringing a table visual. Here I'm going to make this okay, I can create one simple measure if you want. Like total sale, sum of sales. Okay, I'm creating a simple measure. So then I'm going to make use of this measure. Let me change the background. Okay, let me change the wallpaper here with a different background. Okay, so that it can be clear. Okay, this is my table visual. In this table visual I'm going to give the country wise data. Let me bring the total sales measure here. So this is what it is. Okay, so this is my country wise data. So this is my country wise data. If you want to insert any text box, you can insert text box. You can type country wise sales data. That's it. Okay, so this is my country wise data. Just simple just for learning means like demonstrating how to publish is the main goal for this one. Okay, let me go back, and here when you publish it, you have to click the save as button, and when you say on-premises server, like you have to select the Power BI reporting server here. When you do that very first time, it will be blank. If it is saved at least one time, it will be, it means like the on-premises server, whatever you used it will be captured in the cache, so it will appear in the top. You can pick it from there. But now in our case it's very fresh, right? And any report server, the example how it look like also they had given, right? So you have to paste it. Like I can grab my URL. This is my URL, right? So here remove the browse at the end and keep it here till the reports and click OK. So this is the landing page. So you can give the dashboard name. For example, this is customer sales data. Okay, I'm giving the name as customer sales data. Now the report from your local client to reporting server, it's getting published. Now it's trying to save the data. Okay, so once it is published, you will see the successful message. This dashboard has been successfully published. That is the confirmation for us from client to Power BI reporting server. We have successfully completed the process. Okay, this is the confirmation. So now if you hit the take me there hyperlink, it will take you to that dashboard directly. Okay, so this is the confirmation. We are able to communicate to the reporting server and successfully completed one dashboard publishing it. Okay, this is the confirmation. Okay, so now let's try to do one dashboard using SQL Server. Okay, I'm launching SQL Server Management Studio. So now I have the credential already. Okay, I'm going to create a new database for reporting purpose. I'll call this database as I'm going to create a database called create database learning. Okay, so I'll hit that. Now the database has been successfully created. If you right click and refresh it, you will see the latest database has been created. It will appear. Now next to that, I'm going to create a schema. Power BI. Okay, so because by default it will be with a DBO database object schema, by default it will be there in SQL Server. Like I'm going to make it my convenient schema. So if you expand it again and right click and refresh this particular database what we created just before. So now under Yeah. So now, okay, so now let's try to create one table object for our learning purpose. Create table, report data. Okay, ID, number, description, varchar some 30 or something, and okay, varchar, that's it. Okay, so I'm executing. This is the keyword. I will say descript. Okay, so now the table also got created. Let's try to refresh the table information. Okay, sorry, actually we need to change the database to learning before we are doing, because it is default with the master database, correct? So we must create table, report, data, an ID, number, descript, varchar 30, and city name varchar. Okay, so now we have to the schema I have created. Okay, so now if you refresh it, you will see now the Power BI schema under that the corresponding table rep data also as well created. Let's try to load some dummy data. Report data values one dot test and Chennai. Okay, then 2 dot test 2. Right. Okay, so now this two data we have created. Now select star from Power BI rep underscore data. Now the data is ready. Okay, now using this SQL Server data source, we are going to pull this table data, and once we pull the data, we are going to publish it, and after publishing that, later on we are going to insert or update some more data, so that how it is getting sync up. That's the idea behind it. Using this data source we are going to discuss. Okay, let me create a new dashboard. Now let's close this one. Let's close this one, and let me, okay, so let me open the Power BI desktop again. So now here I'm going to use get data. So now earlier the data source is Excel with the usual sample data we have used it, correct? Now in this case we are going to use SQL Server. Now SQL Server we should have the name, right? Name of the host name, correct? We should take it from here, like this is the host name what we have it. You can simply copy the host name, it should understand. Go there and give SQL and leave that data connectivity mode as import, and I'm not going to explain so much. Like direct query means it directly gives the query information if you know in upfront. Otherwise you can pull the import mode the corresponding table. That's the idea behind it. So click OK here. So now it will look for the credential, right? To use the database credential, I have already SCA user to connect with. I have my credential, so I'm giving my credential, database credential. So this is a warning message. You can continue. Once it is continue, it will look for, see, this is the database we have recently created, right? So, and this is the table we have created. Okay, load the data. So now the data has been successfully loaded. The data set appear in the right hand side. Again, I'm going to make use of the table visual for our easy interpretation. So I'm going to bring the three data like ID information as it is, and city name, and I'm going to remove, don't summarize, and I'm going to publish this data. I'm not going to do anything different, like if you want, you can change the background for change the background wall color, wallpaper color. Okay, that's it. Okay, now I'm going to save as again for PowerBI report server. Okay, and as I told you before, this has already been used in the previous thing, like it's in the cache, like it will appear as it is. Okay, click OK. This is what our reporting server URL is supposed to capture, right? So leave it. Now we can give the different name for this one. This is test data. Okay, test data. So okay, I'll click OK. So now the dashboard has been successfully completed, and we are publishing also. It's in the process of saving and publishing into the server. Okay, once it is successfully published, you will see the message take me there. Okay, so again, it's this is what. But again, the interesting part, as I told you, you need to make sure that the data source mapping done correctly, like the database credentials. You have to again pass on the server level. So whatever you have done in the design mode in the canvas area or the Power BI client side, using this Power BI desktop, but whereas when once it is completely published, we must go there in the server level. Okay, if you go to the server level and refresh it, see now the dashboard will appear, but we must do the data source settings appropriately so that the schedule, see here, this dashboard, the dashboard which you publish using the SQL Server data source is successfully published. Now we need to click, see, you need to go there and click the three dots. When you see when you hit the three dots, these are the menu options. You will get it. You navigate all the way to the option manage. Once you click the option, by default, if you go to the data source here, you will see there is no credential been set up by default in the server level. We must select, because this is, see, this is the host name and this is the database which you are connecting. This is the connection, SQL Server connection. It's been okay, but until otherwise this data source is completed successfully, the scheduled refresh will not be enabled. It will be grayed out by default. Okay, so there is no stored credential available and it's missing. That's what it's indicated. Until it's enabled, you cannot do any refresh. So what we need to do is go back to the data sources and select the Windows authentication mode, change the authentication mode to basic authentication mode and give your database credential, whatever you used during your PowerBI designing time. Okay, the credential, whatever you use it correct, the same thing you must give it here. So once it is successfully accepted, see, you'll see the message called connected successfully, and save this. Hit a save button so that it will store it completely. Once it is stored successfully, now you come back to schedule refresh section. Here now you see the schedule refresh option means like enabled. You can schedule it. Okay, you can schedule it. For example, I'm going to give test data schedule give the schedule name, and you can edit your schedule and whatever the schedule you want to give it. For example, I want to make the schedule between Monday to Friday every day, leave it like 2 a.m. something, okay, and apply. It's beginning. If you want to terminate any particular day to end the job, you can do that. I'm leaving now as it is. Once it is done, create a schedule refresh, okay. Click the scheduled refresh plan. So now this schedule, what will happen if you go back, like I mentioned in the beginning of the SQL Server development, developer edition installation, this SQL Server, under SQL Server agent, you will see a new job got created. If you refresh it here, you must see a new job. Still it's loading. So now if you refresh it, refresh it. Okay, you should see that. Okay, this is the new schedule has been created for this particular dashboard. Okay, now you may ask the question, so after scheduling refresh, how you will double sure that the schedule is working properly or not? See, now we have only 2 records, correct? Like whereas if I the purpose behind this scheduler is like whatever the latest data from the source to Power BI report server should reflect based on the schedule run, correct? So now at present we have only 2 records available in the table. The same thing already reflected part of our earlier publishing, correct? But now if I add some more data, like if I want to if I'm adding some more data, so I have added 2 more records, correct? So but yeah, so now I added 2 more data, but it shows up like if I refresh dashboard here, I will still see only 2 records, correct? But so now to bring the other 2 data, what we can do, already we have scheduler, correct? Like based on the time defined, the scheduled interval only it will run. But if you want to run ad hoc also, it's possible to run. Go to manage and go to schedule refresh section and click here, and if you hit a refresh now button, on demand, it's like a on demand, you can do that. Once you hit the button, you will see the refresh thing, correct? So if you click the SQL Server agent, you must see that, okay. See, this is the job has been created now. See, so this is the job actually what we defined it, correct? Reporting server. So this is the job we have created. If you edit this job, you will understand. So what you see, this is the job we have created. So whatever the job you have created, correct, in SQL Server agent, you will see that details information occurs every Monday. So this is the same job we have created. You're clear, right? So behind the scene, the SQL Server agent take care of running the job, okay. So now the job is successfully completed. This is the confirmation for us. If you go back to the dashboard again, whatever the latest data we have inserted, correct, record number 3 and 4, see now the latest data has been pulled from the source to report server. This completes our on-premises server, Power BI reporting server setup, installation, configuration, and creating a dashboard and publishing, and how to update the data source post publishing it. Based on that data source, enabling the schedule refresh also will be available, and the latest data also we added and refreshed it so that it is pulling or pulling from the source to Power BI reporting server, everything we discussed. Hope this video really helpful for you. If you have any question, please reach me out. Thanks for watching my video. Please subscribe my channel.